The billionaire had everything a man could dream of, yet he often found himself staring out of the towering windows of his mansion, wondering why the world still felt so painfully empty. Alexander Grant, known for his empire, his money, and his ruthless business instincts, hid a loneliness so deep that even the marble floors and golden chandeliers couldn't silence it. But the world didn't know that. To them, he was untouchable. Above all, beyond all. That evening, the mansion was unusually quiet except for the soft footsteps of the staff preparing dinner. A storm brewed outside, rattling windows like a warning from fate. Alexander leaned back on the long velvet sofa, closed his eyes, and let out a slow breath. His mind replayed something the head maid, Clara, had said earlier. "Sir, my daughter will be assisting me today. She's shy but hardworking. Please don't mind her." He hadn't planned to test her. But curiosity had its own pulse, and Alexander lived in a world where people only acted kind when they wanted something. So he decided, just for a moment, to pretend he was asleep. Just to see, just to know whether the girl was like everyone else. He lay still on the sofa, breathing lightly, his face relaxed. He could hear her footsteps approaching, soft, hesitant, almost afraid to exist too loudly in a rich man's home. The rustle of her cleaning cloth, the sound of her adjusting a vase he had never noticed, the almost silent hum of a tune she probably didn't realize she was singing. Then she paused. He felt the stillness, the way silence became heavier. She must have been staring at him. He expected the usual, a stolen picture, a greedy glance, a whisper filled with judgments or fantasies about his wealth. But instead, he felt a blanket. A blanket. She gently placed it over him, careful not to wake him, tucking the edges near his shoulders the way a mother tucks in a child. He felt her fingers tremble, like she wasn't used to touching anything so expensive. And then, something completely unexpected. She sat on the nearby chair, just for a moment, and whispered something so soft even the room seemed to stop breathing. "You look tired, sir. I hope you're okay. No one deserves to be lonely, not even rich people." The words stabbed deeper than she could ever imagine. Alexander had been called many things in his life, powerful, intimidating, brilliant, but never lonely. Loneliness wasn't a condition the wealthy were allowed to have. Yet she had seen it in one glance. He kept still, heart pounding in a way he hadn't felt since childhood. She stood slowly, walked toward the grand piano across the room, and whispered again, "Mom said the piano is too expensive to touch, but maybe if I play softly, maybe it will help you sleep better." And then she played. A melody so pure, so fragile, that it cracked something wide open inside him. He hadn't heard that piece in years, his mother's favorite, the one she played before life tore everything apart. He felt a tear slip down his cheek, but she didn't see. She was lost in the music, in a world far from judgment, far from fear. When she finished, she quietly wiped the piano keys, so no one would know she'd touched them, and whispered, "I hope tomorrow is kinder to you." She walked away. No picture, no greed, no attempt to gain anything. Just kindness. When she left the room, Alexander slowly opened his eyes. For the first time in years, he didn't feel alone. A maid's daughter, simple clothes, worn shoes, a shy posture, had shown him more humanity in 5 minutes than billion-dollar partners had shown in a lifetime. The next morning, as she arranged the living room flowers, Alexander approached her. She froze, terrified she had done something wrong. "Did you sleep well, sir?" she whispered. He held her gaze. Better than ever. He saw panic in her eyes. Maybe he had been awake. Maybe he knew she'd touch the piano. Maybe she'd lose her job. She bowed her head, voice trembling. "Sir, I'm sorry if I..." "You played beautifully," he interrupted softly. Her head shot up, shocked. You were awake." "Part of me," he said gently, "but a part that hasn't felt alive in a long time." She stared at him, confused, unsure if he was angry or grateful. "Why did you cover me with a blanket?" he asked. She swallowed. "You looked cold. And the piano. I wanted to help you rest. Sometimes music heals." "Who taught you that piece?" he asked. "My mother used to hum it," she said. "She worked in homes like this too. She always said rich people feel pain, they just hide it better." Alexander felt a tightness in his chest. This girl saw through walls no one had ever crossed. He asked her name. "Emma," she said. Over the next few days, Alexander found reasons to walk through rooms where Emma was working. Not because she was stunning or charming, though she had a quiet grace, but because she had something everyone else lacked. Genuine care. She spoke softly, moved with respect, and did her work with dignity that money could never teach. When she talked to her mother, she didn't complain. She didn't envy. She simply talked about her dreams, studying music, helping her mother retire, living a life where fear didn't dictate her steps. Her kindness wasn't an act. It was who she was. One afternoon, a crystal vase slipped from her hands. It shattered loudly across the marble. She gasped, stepping back, terrified. Her mother rushed in, pale with fear. "I'm so sorry, sir," Clara trembled. "It was my fault. I should have checked. Please don't fire her." Emma stepped forward. "No, Mom, it was me. I'll take responsibility." Alexander looked at them, two women prepared to lose everything over a vase he didn't even like. He shook his head. "No one is losing their job. It's just a vase. People matter more than objects." Emma blinked. No one in her life had said something like that before. Word spread quickly among the staff. The billionaire was changing. He smiled more. He listened more. He showed compassion where there had only been cold distance. All because of a girl who played a piano she wasn't allowed to touch. One evening, after a long day of business battles, Alexander found Emma in the music room, practicing softly, trying not to disturb anyone. Her fingers moved nervously. She wasn't confident, but she had heart. "You should play louder," Alexander said from the doorway. She jumped slightly. "I didn't want to bother anyone." "You never bother me," he said quietly. She stared at him. "Why are you being so kind to me?" He took a moment, choosing honesty over pride. "Because you were kind to me first, when you thought I was asleep." Her eyes softened. That night, they talked, not as billionaire and Maid's daughter, but as two human beings carrying their own wounds. She shared her fears, her dreams, her struggles. He shared the loneliness of riches, the burden of expectations, the ache of losing his mother too young. The mansion suddenly didn't feel so cold. But life always tests the purest connections. A business partner accused Emma of stealing a bracelet worth thousands. Security cameras were, coincidentally, disabled. Staff whispered. Clara cried. Emma stood silent, shaking, knowing no one would believe a maid's daughter over a billionaire's colleague. But Alexander did. Without hesitation, he investigated himself. When the truth surfaced, proving the partner had set her up, Alexander fired the man on the spot. Then he turned to Emma. "You never have to fear anything while you're under my roof." Tears streamed down her face. Not because she needed saving, but because no one had ever protected her before. Weeks passed, and Emma grew confident, open, alive. Her music filled the mansion. Her laughter softened the walls. Her presence reminded Alexander of everything he had forgotten about life: warmth, trust, hope. One morning, he entered the music room holding an envelope, her music school acceptance letter. Fully paid. No conditions. She covered her mouth. "Sir, this is too much. You gave me back something money couldn't buy," he said softly. "Let me give you something money can." "But why?" she whispered. He looked at her with honesty that made her stop breathing. "Because who you are matters. You changed my life without even trying. And I want you to live yours without limits." Emma cried, and he let her. Not out of pity, but pride. That evening, as the sun set behind the mansion's glass walls, Alexander narrated his story for the viewers of your video, looking straight into the camera, speaking from his heart. "If a simple act of kindness from someone who expected nothing could change my entire world," he said, "imagine what kindness could do in yours." Don't underestimate small gestures. Don't ignore the people around you. And if this story touched your heart, maybe it's a sign to spread a little more love today. Like the video, subscribe for more inspiring stories. And remember, true richness is found not in wealth, but in kindness. The screen faded, and somewhere in the mansion, Emma played the same melody, the one that awakened the billionaire's heart, and the future felt beautifully, irresistibly hopeful.